Welcome to the Broadway.com show, filmed in New York's historic Brill Building. I'm Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And I'm Beth Stevens. This week we chat with Kyle Jarrow about writing the book for Spongebob Squarepants, get a sneak peek at Christian Borle and Laura Michelle Kelly in Me and My Girl, and more.
And later, stage and screen star Vicki Lewis tells us all about making her Broadway return in Anastasia. But first, let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Beth?
Nominations for the 19th annual Broadway.com Audience Choice Awards were announced this week by two former winners, Aaron Tveit and Karen Olivo, who are starring together in the upcoming new musical Moulin Rouge. Mean Girls dominated the nominations with 15, followed by Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and Spongebob Squarepants, which both garnered 10 nods. Once on This Island and Frozen nipped at their heels with 9 each. So who will win? That's up to you. Voting is open now on Broadway.com and will close at 11:59 p.m. on May 14th. Congratulations to all of the nominees and to all the fans. Get out the vote.
Award season is in full bloom, and some of our favorite shows and performers are already collecting trophies. The Actors Equity Foundation awarded the 2018 Clarence Derwent Awards, given to promising artists for breakout performances, to Ashley Park and Sean Carvajal. Park was recognized for her Tony-nominated turn as Gretchen Wieners in Mean Girls and for her work in the Ars Nova musical K-pop, while Carvajal was honored for his performance in Signature Theater's revival of Jesus Hopped the A-Train. Both stars also won Lucille Lortel Awards for their off-Broadway performances, with K-pop winning Outstanding Musical and Jesus Hopped the A-Train winning Outstanding Revival at the 33rd annual ceremony. Among the other Lucille Lortel Award winners were Schoolgirls, or the African Mean Girls play, and the Pulitzer-winning Cost of Living, tying for Outstanding Play. Mary Jane's Carrie Coon for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Play, and the Lucky One's Damon Donnell for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Musical. And finally, the big winners at the Outer Critics Circle Awards were Spongebob Squarepants and its star Ethan Slater and director Tina Landau, My Fair Lady and its stars Lauren Ambrose and Norbert Leo Butz and director Bartlett Sher, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and its director John Tiffany, Angels in America and its stars Andrew Garfield and Nathan Lane, as well as Three Tall Women and its stars Glenda Jackson and Laurie Metcalf. Check out Broadway.com for full lists of all the award winners so far.
When you say so far, what you mean is
that they can vote for the Broadway.com Audience Choice Awards right now.
That's what I thought you meant. Nick Scandalios, who is the Executive Vice President of the Nederlander organization and one of the nicest guys in the biz, is this year's recipient of the Isabel Stevenson Tony Award for his work with the Family Equality Council. The award honors a member of the theater community for his or her humanitarian efforts. We caught up with Scandalios at a special event called Night at the Pier, which is the Family Equality Council's celebration of LGBTQ families.
It's all about children and the creation of families. So it's all about spreading love and inclusiveness, and how do we form families, and how do we take kids who are in need of families and get them adopted, get them out of foster care, and help people build beautiful, fulfilling lives.
And now for a Broadway casting update. Beth Malone will assume the role of the Angel in the Tony-nominated revival of Angels in America full-time beginning May 23rd at the Neil Simon Theater, where the show will run on extension through July 15th. Chaz Palminteri will return to Broadway in A Bronx Tale, the musical based on his solo show that also inspired the 1993 film, taking on the role of Sonny at weekday performances beginning May 24th at the Longacre Theater. Palminteri will become the first actor to play the same part in a play, film, and stage musical. Original cast member Nick Cordero will continue with the show, playing Sonny on Saturday and Sunday performances. Supergirl and Glee star Melissa Benoist will make her Broadway debut as Carole King in Beautiful, beginning performances June 7th at the Stephen Sondheim Theater, where she'll play a limited engagement through August 4th. And Lea Salonga, who returned to Broadway this season in the Tony-nominated revival of Once on This Island, will play her final performance as Urzuli, Goddess of Love, in the acclaimed show on June 24th at the Circle in the Square Theater. Current cast member and understudy Darlicia Searcy will succeed Salonga in the role.
Second Stage has announced more of its 40th anniversary season, and if you snap to attention at the words Dear Evan Hansen and Next to Normal, listen up. At its off-Broadway Tony Kaiser Theater, Second Stage will premiere a new play by Dear Evan Hansen scribe Stephen Levinson called Days of Rage. Directed by Trip Cullman, the new work follows 3 young radicals in the fall of 1969 as they make plans for the revolution from a remote college town. Previews begin on October 2nd. Next up is Superhero, a world premiere musical featuring a score by Next to Normal Tony winner Tom Kitt and a book by Red Tony winner John Logan. The musical centers on a fractured family, the mysterious stranger in apartment 4B, and an unexpected hero who might just save the day. Wait, it gets even better. Superhero will star Tony nominees Kate Baldwin and Bryce Pinkham, as well as newcomer Kyle MacArthur, and it will be directed by Jason Moore. Look for it in late January 2019. A new production of Christopher Shin's Pulitzer finalist, Dying City, will complete second stage's off-Broadway season. Dying City is set in a spare Manhattan apartment where a young widow receives an unexpected visit from the twin brother of her deceased husband. Obie winner Lila Neugebauer will direct the revival, which will begin previews in July 2019. What a great season to look forward to.
Hold on, I need a minute. Kate Baldwin in a Tom Kitt musical?
Breathe, Ryan.
I'm shook. The Broadway revival of Mark Medoff's Tony-winning drama Children of a Lesser God, co-starring Joshua Jackson and Lauren Ridloff, who earned a Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Play Tony nomination for her Broadway debut performance as Sarah, will end its run May 27th at Studio 54. Tony winner Kenny Leon directed the first ever revival of the play that explores the relationship between a teacher at a school for the deaf and Sarah, the young woman he meets there. The play, which challenges long-held misconceptions about deaf culture and the essence of communication, won the 1980 Tony Award for Best Play. Children of a Lesser God is nominated for 3 Broadway.com Audience Choice Awards, including Favorite Play Revival, Favorite Leading Actor in a Play, and Favorite Leading Actress in a Play. The production officially opened on April 11th and will have played 23 previews and 54 regular performances upon closing.
When we come back, we look at the new musical, Gettin' the Band Back Together, check out Isaac Powell's dressing room at Once on This Island, and more.
This week on Broadway.com, Angels in America Tony nominee Andrew Garfield talks Miss Vanjie, Bruce Springsteen, and more on Show People. Frozen's Jelani Aladdin premieres the first vlog episode of Icebreaker, and more.
Ben Brantley of the New York Times calls The Book of Mormon the best musical of this century. This was my 4th time seeing it, and they still had me at hello. Winner of 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. The Book of Mormon on Broadway.
Hi, my name is Joshua Henry, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome back. Kyle Jarrow was just nominated for a Tony Award for his creative book for Spongebob Squarepants. Jarrow stopped by our studio to tell us how he got involved in the project and how he developed the super fun, surprisingly timely story.
I believe Nickelodeon's been developing it about 8 years. I only got involved a little over 4 years ago. They had hired Tina Landau, the director, first, because one of the big questions was, what is it going to look like? They didn't want it to look exactly like the cartoon, so figuring out that aesthetic for the stage was kind of their first job. So I came in for that first meeting wondering, what kind of show is this going to be? And within 3 minutes into the meeting, I was like, okay, they want to do the awesomest version. I definitely want to be involved. And then it was just about figuring out what the story would be. And pretty soon into the process, I pitched them this idea, like, what if it's the end of the world? And that's what it's about. It's like Armageddon meets Our Town meets SpongeBob. And I think that's a big part of how it can work for people who don't know the SpongeBob universe at all, is it's a universal story. We're all part of some kind of community, and we've all felt in crisis, especially now in the culture that we're living in now, and look, the president we have, and fear is very much in the political dialogue, and I think how people react to fear, does it turn them against other people, or does it bring them together? Those feel like really current universal questions. Every night now, there's entrance applause for the characters, and I think part of what it's about is, oh my God, like, I'm seeing this character that I love reinterpreted in this really clever way. We actually brought in some test audiences just to see, like, are people down for, you know, a SpongeBob that looks different and these characters being reinterpreted? And what we found is that kids were 100% down. And that it was actually parents who thought that their kids wanted the Madison Square Garden thing. But kind of the wonderful truth is, the kids don't care. They're excited about going on that imaginative journey. And the adults, I think, are looking for something that's a little more theatrically sophisticated. I feel really proud to give something that I think can work on both those levels. When we settled on that this is how we were going to create the score, I did an outline for the show that had holes for the song. We know who's singing it. We know in general what it needs to do in the story. Who would be the awesomest songwriter to write that song? And then we went to the songwriter and we said, hey, would you want to do a song for us? Here's roughly what it would be about. And you know, we got really lucky. Like 98% of the people that we approached said yes. To me, there's two things that a project needs to do to get me excited. It needs to be about something that feels important or interesting to me. I'm a fan of SpongeBob. And I think telling a story about community and fear and how that works together, that felt important, especially right now. So both those boxes got checked. And then I would say the other thing that's really important to me for a project is that the form matches the content. Is a musical the right way to tell that story? There is something about this world of SpongeBob that just invites that. I'm the book writer for the SpongeBob musical, and it's actually really good. Like, I'm really proud of it. And let's just be real, like, that's not always true. With a big commercial property, I do feel the show is great, and that's an awesome feeling to get to have.
The musical comedy Me and My Girl follows Cockney everyman Bill Snibson, who, after being unexpectedly elevated to the lofty position of Earl of Hereford, wreaks havoc on high society and risks losing his girl, Sally Smith. Two-time Tony winner Christian Borle and Olivier winner Laura Michelle Kelly are the perfect pair in the Encore's production, scheduled to play at City Centre from May the 9th through 13th. We chatted with the stars in the rehearsal room.
She's absolutely wonderful and marvelous and beautiful, and anyone can understand why. I'm leaning on a lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady comes by.
Me and My Girl is a classic, great musical with an incredible score. And the sweetest story, I love the story so much, it's a different kind of love story because it's about a couple. When the story begins, they're already in love. And then you throw these songs onto it and Warren's choreography. It's confection.
It has to do with the search for an heir. There's a great estate and a title at stake, and they've finally found this heir of low origins. He's been left as a sort of foundling almost.
And he is suddenly thrown into this new family saying you are the heir apparent to this huge amount of money. And I'm also come along with him as part of his package, but they don't want me because she's not the same class anymore.
I love this show. I love this show. It's filled with heart and it's filled with charm and filled with humor. And this was actually a story that I really was eager to tell and a show that I was eager to bring back to audiences. You know, it hasn't been seen for 30 years.
But it's really all about how much they love each other and how much they love each other, that they do go to great lengths to look after each other.
Me and my girl, it's no use pretending, we knew the ending a long time ago.
Some little church with a big steeple, just a few people that both of us know,
and we'll have love,
laughter.
laughter.
I hear nothing.
Be happy ever after.
Borle and Kelly revealed why they are happy to reunite on the stage.
No, we fell in love with each other doing Mary Poppins, I think, almost 10 years ago. It's so nice to be reunited with her. She's so easy to play with, and she sounds glorious, and she only tells the truth on stage.
We've always been a great team. We always love working together. He's so spontaneous and crazy, and I'm like, always go with it. And he taught me about how to be free on stage in a way I never experienced before, in the moment. And we have so much of that in Me and My Girl. We just keep playing off each other. It's so much fun.
I just sit there either laughing hysterically or going, how did they do that? They're so good. They're just so amazing.
The company shared what they love most about giving this classic new life at Encores.
You know, Me and My Girl has charm, and it has simplicity, and it has eccentricity. It has great humor. It's really good old-fashioned musical comedy.
And particularly this year, I thought we need to do one show that will simply take people out of whatever stress they're in, whatever misery they may be in, and just say for 2 hours, check all of that stuff at the door and have a great time.
And this time, we need to remember how important love is. And that's what this piece does. It lets us know that love is important and it can conquer so much.
Gettin, the Band Back Together is scheduled to begin Broadway performances at the Belasco Theater this summer. The story follows Mitch Papadopoulos, who always fantasized about being the next Bon Jovi, but left those daydreams behind for a day job. In the musical, he dusts off his guitar and gathers his old gang. We got a sneak peek with the stars of the production in rehearsal. Take a look.
Ken said it's called Getting the Band Back Together. I said, oh, is that the title? And he said, well, the thing is that every time we think of another title, nothing says what this show is like Getting the Band Back Together.
When you get together a band in high school, when you're rocking with your friends, like it's because you want to have fun. You want to like hang out together and play music. And that's what these guys are getting to do. They're getting a chance to play music again, feel like they're young and having a good time.
It just was something that is so honest and fun, and the music is really rockin', and it's all new. This is a brand new musical, not based on anything.
It's just brilliantly in your face. I mean, it's gonna be loud. It's gonna be a great message. People are gonna be able to rock out, but it also has such heart to it, which I think that really does sort of permeate through.
It's a fun show in a time when we just kind of need some levity. There hasn't been a show like this. I mean, it's been maybe 5-6 years since I can remember. Just kind of a fun, lighthearted comedy that's not really trying to say too much. It's just trying to give you a good time and inspire you to find your childlike exuberance once again. I think we need it.
Gettin' the Band Back Together will surely show audiences a great time. The cast talked about how they plan to keep things fresh and fun for themselves on stage as well.
It's terribly self-aware, almost to the point of sketch comedy. We like to put hats on hats and then put another hat on it, because it's really just going there with the comedy. It's got an SNL kind of vibe to it, which is what I love, and it was all born out of improv, so they're still letting us play a lot. So some days, you know, Tygan or Mitch or Jay playing Bart will just say a different line and we all lose it, and it's so fun.
It's a bunch of really funny actors, and we've been really given a lot of freedom by John Rando, so every performance, although we stick to a script, it really has this kind of loosey-goosey kind of Carol Burnett feel, and you never know what's going to happen. And I remember John, one of the first notes when we did this before, he was like, so your goal for tonight is to try to make each other laugh on stage. So when a director gives you permission to make the other actor break, it gives you a lot of leeway to take risks. And when you're able to do that, then I feel like the audience it really go with you, because they're like, oh, this is happening right now. It's fresh, it's real, and it's fun.
You're really seeing a rock musical from the ground up with this kind of Saturday Night Live sketch humor that still will hit you in the heart. So I think it's really worth seeing.
Isaac Powell is making his Broadway debut as Daniel in the Tony-nominated revival of Once on This Island. Before he tells a story, he gets in character in his dressing room. We recently caught up with Powell at the Circle in the Square Theatre as he shared his favourite backstage items, including colouring books, his co-star Alex Newell's wigs, and more.
So my first thing is my Frida Kahlo book. Anybody who knows me knows that I love Frida Kahlo. She's one of my favourite artists. And so her book is never far from me. She's just awesome, and some people say I look like her, so. Thing two is this awesome frog. I have two pet tree frogs, so there are tons of frogs all over my dressing room. You can find them everywhere, but this is perhaps my favorite one. This was a gift from Haley Kilgore's mom. I think she gave this to me during previews or for opening, but it's this little frog that it's an instrument. It plays music. I feel like it could, it'd totally be at home on our set. We could use this as an instrument in the show, and I love it. Number three is this Rocks and Minerals coloring book. I love to color. If I get here early, I'm usually sitting in here coloring. Got all my markers. It's just a nice, sort of meditative activity to, just decompress, and it's pretty. My fourth favorite thing is this insane wig. Anytime Alex leaves the dressing room, I like to put his wigs on. I have no idea where this one came from. It was just here one day, but I freaking love it. It's insane. And last but absolutely not least is our little nap time oasis down here. Our pillows and our blankets. Anytime there's a 2-show day and we don't want to leave the theater, we just hang out here and get cozy in our little comfy hideaway and take a well-deserved nap. Good night. Okay, this was really fun, but it's time for you to get out because I'm really sleepy. I'm gonna take a little nap. Thank you so much for checking out my stuff, and don't forget to come and see us at Circle in the Square. Good night.
When we return, Vicki Lewis tells us all about playing the show-stopping Countess Lily in Broadway's Anastasia.
Go ahead, throw your rocks at me.
Baking a pie is easy, if you know how.
I'm still standing.
If only life were as easy as pie. Waitress is a hit, raised the New York Times, with songs by Grammy-nominated artist Sarah Bareilles, an uplifting celebration of love and laughter.
Sugar, butter, flour.
Welcome back. We are joined by Vicki Lewis back on Broadway. I didn't expect you to come back to Broadway, I have to tell you.
You had just written me off.
I had written you off. I thought she just went to California and...
I know. It's funny, I didn't know that I would come back, but I always wanted to. And then in the last few years, it was actually my husband who, and you know, I teach at USC. I've been teaching there for 9 years, and I do my television thing there, but I was so missing it. And he looked at me one day and he said, "You got to get out of here."
Get out.
Yeah. You got to go. And yeah, he said, "You're going to be miserable if you don't." And so my plan was to come here this May and to just get an apartment and tool around and, you know, see old friends and see shows and see if it sort of lit me back up.
Right.
And then this audition fell out of the sky.
Anastasia.
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 And then here I am. The rest is history.
And
yeah, it was a perfect job.
Fantastic role.
It's a fantastic
Countess
role.
Lily.
Yep.
I think she should be called Countess Vicki while you're there. But
well, I am
Countess
doing
Lily.
that on the matinee days. I sometimes change her name to Countess Vicki.
Caroline O'Connor played the role, and you stepped in for her.
She was marvelous in the role. I got
really,
to watch her do it like 4 times while I was studying. Yeah.
What do you love about this character? I mean, she's insane. I love it.
Well, she's insane. Like there's 2 lives that she leads, which opens you up to many different emotions and behaviors. So she's got the life with the dowager, and then she's got the life where she lets loose so she can manage the life with the dowager, who she loves and cares for, but it's confining and a little bit restricted emotionally. So she goes to this Neva club and lets loose, and then I'm like, you know, I turn into Lily St. Regis's crazy aunt. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's fantastic. There's all these colors. Then there's the tawdry romance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's John Bolton?
He's fantastic.
You guys hitting it off. Did you know John before this?
John was in the chorus of Damn Yankees.
See, I knew there was going to be a connection with you and John.
Yes. He came in the last 5 months that I was there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I left when Victor left.
Yes.
But John was there for a little. Victor
also
Garber.
back on Broadway.
Yes, right across
Look
the
at this.
street. We can wave to each other. I know.
So John was in the ensemble.
Yes.
The ball players.
Yes,
and,
he was. He took over for Michael Winther. I don't know if you remember. You probably know every name I'm going to say because you're good that way.
Yeah. I was around in the 90s.
Yeah. No, weren't we all? Those were the good years. Yes.
So, and actually, I have to tell you about Damn Yankees. Your Gloria Thorpe is the stuff of legend in my household.
That's very sweet.
Whenever I think of the song Shoeless Joe, I hear your voice, like belting the crap out of that. It was amazing.
It was a kind of an iconic moment, which at the time I wasn't aware of. I knew it was liked and it was a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
But subsequently, I run into people often who are like, "I had that on repeat my entire college life," or "I had." No, that's a testament to everybody in the number, and Rob Marshall's choreography was spectacular.
When he was just Rob Marshall choreographer.
He was just Rob Marshall.
Now look at him.
Well, I got my equity card with Rob Marshall.
Really?
At the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. I would carry the train of Dixie Carter's Dress in Mame. That was my job, and then she would spit into a cup before she would go on, like, not like rude or anything. And then my job was to take the cup back and rinse it out. I was thrilled to do it.
You would take the cup and rinse it out.
That was my little job.
It was an honor.
Yes, it was an honor to do it. Crazy what we do.
But you did leave. You actually, you're a real theater girl.
Yes.
I mean, like you really you moved to New York young. Where did you grow up?
I moved here. I moved from Ohio.
Okay.
And I went to Pittsburgh to get my equity card in the second summer I was in college. I went to CCM with Liz Calloway was my roommate. Wow. Jason Graw.
Roommate?
Faith Prince was a roommate. What? Yeah, we were all it was a fabulous class.
I know all your roommates.
Yeah, you know, all my roommates. I still owe Liz Calloway pizza money, by the way, and she never lets me forget it.
Who was a better roommate, Faith Prince or Liz Calloway? Be honest.
Oh, I like them both, but Faith is a nester. So you get taken care of with her, like it's time for toast.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm doing laundry today.
Right.
So you were a little more mothered with Faith.
I feel like you and Faith made up for the same parts too.
We did a little bit. We were. There was like a time where it was like, oh, I hate that this is happening. But also, I so looked up to her, so I was sort of, you know. I wanted to be her for a little while. I think. I think everybody did. I think everybody did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, no, I moved here. I got my equity card, so I actually came here with $35 in the pocket.
Real story.
Real story. And then I'll tell you an interesting little tidbit. So I didn't have an agent. And my friend Mitchell Lemsky, who was stage managing a show called Do Black Patent Leather Shoes Really Reflect Up?
Yes.
Was the first Broadway show I ever did. Big hit in Philadelphia.
Okay, and then it came
We
to
got
Broadway.
here, and I believe the review started something like, how dare they flaw a shared memory. No, like, it didn't go over well here.
That was your fault.
It was I shouldered it. I did. It was our fault. Oh, my Lanta. And so I auditioned. I was like, he's like, well, you're really right for this role of Virginia Lear. And I'm like, well, I don't. What am I going to do? So I went over to NOLA Studios, and I sat there for about 4 hours till they called a girl's name who didn't answer, and I raised my hand. And I went in, and I got that job. That's crazy, the stuff of crazies.
You did a lot of shows off Broadway, and then a lot of short runs on Broadway.
Very short, just as hard to get into the short running ones.
Yeah, but then you started getting TV stuff, and you were like, I'm out.
Yeah, I had done a movie in LA, and then Dan Yankees happened.
That was another not hit.
That was another not hit. That was a movie musical called I'll Do Anything.
Which you could probably do a whole hour-long interview about.
I probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dysfunctional. But then I got a series, so I left the Broadway to go do news radio.
Yeah, news radio.
Yeah.
That was a big hit.
Yeah.
I remember that. You were hilarious.
That was an exciting time for me. Like, it was all sort of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did Chicago.
Then I came back and I did Chicago 2 different times in New York.
Velma.
Yes.
Right, Velma. Okay.
Once with
Velma
Charlotte
Kelly.
Tembois.
You did it twice,
and
2
once
runs in
with
that.
Now Visitor.
And you've actually been doing musical theater out in LA, but I haven't seen it because I don't live there. So I'm glad you're back, so I can see it.
No, listen, it's a dream come true to be back. I missed it terribly, and I'm so excited that this is working out and that I get to be here playing
And you're also stepped into a show that has an automatic fan base. These Fanastasias.
Yeah.
How are these girls?
That's a word I learned. Yes, the Fanastasias.
Right.
Well, it's fun. Do you know what I mean? It's like a rock concert. I'm sure you remember in the audience, but like every day you're like, how can they scream that loudly when we come out? They're very enthusiastic. The show is beautiful. It's a beautiful story. The audience connects to it, whether it be because of the Romanov history, and there's Russians. I mean, we have a lot of Russian people coming to sort of see the Romanov story, and then you have...
Oh, it's gathering a lot of Russians.
Yes.
I didn't know this is where the Russians are going on Broadway.
This is where the Russians are. They're with us.
Okay, good to know.
And then you get your family and your people that loved that film, and they're very connected to those characters, loyal to them, and they go bananas.
And it's really turned into like a big Broadway hit. I mean, you know, it really is like a big Broadway musical.
Yeah.
And it hits all the notes. And you're the funny one.
I am the funny one.
And John too, but you get a lot of great moments.
Yes. I sit in my dressing room in Act 1 and eat candy and do selfies and try to learn to be better at social media.
What's the go-to candy?
Well, the go-to candy right now is Blow Pops, which is very, yes.
Classic.
It's a classic, yeah. And then I'm decorating the dressing room.
Oh,
this all happens during Act 1. Because I sit there in an hour and a half. I have one moment, as you know, at the top of Act 1, for like 15 seconds.
Right.
And then I terrorize everyone. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You want to hang out there? Like, we're doing a show, Vicki. We're trying to do a show. And then Act 2 happens, and I come on, and it's like 0 to 60 out of a cannon.
Right.
And it never stops, and it's hilarity, and it's the greatest job ever.
It's a good gig.
Yeah, it's a great gig.
I'm so excited you're doing it.
I'm so excited to be doing it.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I could talk to you forever, but this is a limited interview, so
oh, it is?
Maybe
That's
we'll do a longer one.
It's not like a two-part, like the Harry Potter show, or like Angels in a Minute. We don't come back later and do like the second half.
Part two of this interview.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
2, 3,
I mean,
4,
you could
let's
make
keep
an
going.
exception for me.
All
I feel like, because I was gone so long. Okay.
Thank you so much,
You're
Vicki.
welcome.
So
It's
good
so
to see
great
you.
to see you.
Everyone, go see Anastasia. It's at the Broadhurst Theater. It's a big hit, and you'll see why when you go see it. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh my God.
When we come back, a rehearsal room sneak peek at the Alanis Morissette musical, Jagged Little Pill.
Ben Brantley of the New York Times calls The Book of Mormon the best musical of this century. This was my 4th time seeing it, and they still had me at hello. Winner of 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. The Book of Mormon on Broadway.
I'm Denise Goff, playing Harper Pitt in Angels in America, and you are watching the Broadway.com show.
Thank you for watching the Broadway.com show.
We leave you with a behind-the-scenes look at the Jagged Little Pill rehearsal room. The Alanis Morissette musical is playing at the American Repertory Theater in Cambridge, Massachusetts through July 15th.
See you next week.